Welcome to Civil Discourse, a podcast where participants are free to share their ideas, empathize with other perspectives, and who intend to advance to a better solution to fix a societal ill. We will focus on topics that are particularly complicated. In a time where information is from sources more opinionated than ever, our mission is to find solutions and goals to accelerate the nation's progress with cultural impunity. I'm your host, Todd Furniss. The idea certainly, well, I don't want to say certainly. I will say for the record that sexual harassment should not be tolerated. I think every person, and given that this happens more often than not to women, then I would say every woman has to make a decision on how she handles not tolerating it. But I think there's a question around how do you get past this? And I want to, if I may, ask you about a particular story that you shared with me. And I was just aghast. But this to me is an example of the story that some of the stories you're alluding to, but haven't quite come out and said. And if you can, please share the story about your role as a marketing director in putting together this annual trip and the outcome after you put that on and what happened. And to me, it's just unbelievable.
That was an unbelievable story. And I just by way of clarification, my comments about sexual harassment really relates to sexual inappropriate, not like harassment in this kind of story I'm going to tell, which I absolutely immediately went to the managing partner in the firm and told him. So I was the marketing director at a large law firm, and one of my responsibilities, my department's very small department's responsibilities, was putting on an annual dove hunt. And since we just passed Labor Day in Texas, that is the opening weekend of dove season. And I was in Snyder, Texas, and getting ready for this event, getting ready for people to arrive. And a carload of partners at the time had been playing golf all day, arrived at the venue completely drunk, and at about 4:00, and the first hunt was going to be at 5:00. And
so these are partners in the law firm. These are the big dogs, who are the rainmakers, theoretically, the equity holders of the firm. So theoretically, the most responsible leaders of the firm show up, blistered drunk, driving a car.
Yes.
So you don't even pass go on this one.
Right. And they're carrying guns. So
that's always a wise idea. It's good to combine inebriation with loaded weapons. That's always smart.
Yes. So I suggested to them in the nicest, Susie tour guide kind of way that, perhaps they could sit this one out and just let everybody else. We had about 85 clients, mostly clients, and a few other lawyers from the law firm participating.
So you're a musician. We'll call these, you try to persuade them with dulcet tones.
With my most dulcet tones, yes. And they, of course, had none of it. So I called the administrative partner in the firm, and I told him, there's nothing you can do here. I'm just letting you know. I know we have insurance, but I'm just letting you know. I had this conversation with them. I'm concerned about this. We have 75 clients here and drunk partners with guns. And I'm just alerting you in advance. I pray that nothing happens. And the prayers worked because nothing happened. But fast forward to now, Tuesday after Labor Day, back in the office. And I find that the administrative partner called in those partners and read them the riot act and said, Deborah told me that. So he completely threw me under the bus, probably unwittingly so, but I was under that bus nonetheless. And what ultimately happened is then anytime I would see any of those lawyers in the hallway, from the youngest associate to the senior most partner, they would call me the C word under their breath as I'm walking by them. And that went on for probably a week. And there were probably 10 or 15 of those lawyers. So that was a lot of day after day after day in the hallway, kind of, that I just ignored it. But then one of the sort of ringleaders of this, of the drunk gang, came into my office screaming expletives, and he was so angry at me, and he was just screaming at me, and he took this giant, typical law firm club chair that was on the other side of my desk and put it over his head. And it was so clear to me in that moment that he was going to throw it at me. And my office was my desk was in such a place, there was no way he could have misfired, because my desk chair was actually at the point of where the wall came together. And so I just scooted around and ran out the door, and he pivoted with this chair over his head and threw it after me as I am running out the door. And he completely broke the door frame in my office.
Which was glass.
No, it was wood, and probably mostly wood.
Okay.
But it broke the door frame.
And what happened to him?
Nothing. Well, he certainly never had to apologize to me. I went to the managing partner and the administrative partner, and they apologized profusely. They were horrified, but he wasn't fired, and he never was forced to apologize to me.